I am so happy that you're here today because I am diving into that popular reality show Love is Blind, episode 5. Hi, I'm Dr. Pam, therapist and passionate couples counselor, and today one of the biggest takeaways from this episode is that what we most love about a person when we first meet them may end up hurting us the most in the long run. So stay tuned because there are so many teachable moments throughout this episode. For example, Hannah calls Nick Mr. Suave.
So hot. I know he's hot. I know he's Mr. Suave. Like, he's charming.
But could his charm be stirring up deeper insecurities in her and ultimately backfire in their relationship? The answer might surprise you. Also, Tim refers to himself as an immovable object, while Alex admits that she can be bossy.
You feel like I'm like bossy because I feel like I am.
You could try to be. I feel like you are used to being bossy, but I'm an immovable object.
Can this couple find balance, or are they headed for power struggles? And finally, is Stephan finally letting down his walls, or is he just scratching the surface of what it means to be vulnerable and connect?
For the first time, letting our walls down for the first time in a pod.
I'll be unpacking all of this and so much more. So let's just dive right in with Leo and Brittny. And during my unpacking of their relationship, I'm going to highlight an insightful moment from Brittny, where she nails the meaning of Leo's marriage proposal.
I found my queen from Baltimore.
So stupid.
I promise to always keep you safe. Oh, why'd I use my big dumb brain, overthinking from the start? I damn near went insane. Your patience, grace, and so much strength, I'm so in love with you. So now it's time for me to ask, I am down on one knee, will you marry me?
There's a lot to unpack here. First, his words come across as robotic and forced. And this did leave me wondering, was he intentionally rhyming? Because if he was, it adds to the lack of authenticity. And why does he call her his queen? To me, it feels performative rather than genuine. When he promises to keep her safe, it feels especially hollow given his track record. His indecision, manipulative behavior, and lack of emotional safety have consistently made her feel hurt and insecure. But what's even more telling is his focus on himself during the proposal. He says he almost went insane making his decision, framing this moment as if it is all about his internal struggle rather than a partnership. Then he mentions her patience, grace, and strength, which feels disconnected from her actual experience. She wasn't in any way expressing patience or strength. She was understandably vulnerable, hurt, and emotionally raw, reacting to that situation that he created. That said, I think it is important to acknowledge that he believes that his intentions are good, but his words seem more like an attempt to rewrite the narrative rather than genuinely own the hurt and pain that he caused. He just has a lot of growth work to do. And in a previous video, I also said that she has a lot of growth work to do as well. This is why I wish she would say this to him. Show her how to do it, Kate.
It's over. This twisted, toxic thing between us is finally finished.
Right? That would have been the best thing for actually both of them, because until they each do their growth work, they won't be able to create a healthy and fulfilling relationship with anyone. And growth requires learning to challenge each other in a kind and constructive way, but instead she does this.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Oh.
His focus wasn't on celebrating their connection, but about avoiding the discomfort of being turned down. And as for Brittny, she said it herself in a previous episode. Here it is in her own words.
So I think when I'm pinned against other women, It's just like, oh, here we go again.
When she said yes to Leo, this was about not wanting to experience losing out to other women, like she almost lost out to Hannah. What she doesn't realize is that she brings more to the table than she gives herself credit for. And this is what she nailed about the marriage proposal.
I feel like you just asked me if I'd be your girlfriend.
The reason that Brittny felt like his proposal was more like asking her to be his girlfriend than a genuine marriage proposal is clear. It was immature, it lacked emotional depth, and felt completely hollow. There was no real heart in it, just empty words. And reading the proposal like he did just shows a lack of confidence and insincerity. Instead of speaking from the heart and expressing his true feelings in the moment, or what you might expect from a marriage proposal, he relied on a script, making the proposal feel rehearsed and very detached. Okay, so we all know what happens when they meet in person. He was pretty much all over her, but let me just show you a bit of that because I have some things to say about what happened.
Why do you love me?
Even though you're like cute, you're strong. I don't think people see that. What do you love about me?
I just feel bad that I haven't reciprocated saying I love you.
It's okay.
But I feel like when I say it, I want to like really like mean it.
I don't even know where to start. Okay, yes I do. Why would you agree to marry someone when you don't truly love them? Well, we know why. Because she needed to be chosen. And the questions that they are asking each other show that they didn't put in the necessary work to genuinely get to know one another. It's clear that their time in the pods wasn't about building a meaningful connection. Their dynamic shows how unresolved personal challenges can lead to unhealthy relationship choices and then sadly a whole lot of hurt. Okay, next I'll be diving into Nick and Hannah's complicated dynamic, and I'm going to react to how the very qualities that they initially loved about each other will likely become their biggest challenges in the relationship.
She has so much depth to her.
Nicky D is so hot. I know he's hot. I know he's Mr. Suave. Like, he's charming and he speaks well. He talks about like how he works out. Worst case scenario, he's like super, super tiny. But my biggest fear in this moment is that he's gonna see me and he's not gonna like what he sees.
It's interesting, isn't it, that he describes Hannah as having a lot of depth, and yet from what we've seen, and again, I don't know what was edited out, but her primary focus is on appearance. She gushes about how hot he will be, calling him Mr. Suave, and her biggest concern is that he's super tiny, and she expresses concerns that he won't like what he sees. In the pods, she expressed frequently insecurities about physical appearance. I believe that her preoccupation with appearance is a sign of deeper issues. She did address it briefly in the pods. I think she said that when she was younger, her mom would lock the kitchen cabinets so she couldn't snack, which is a very shaming thing to do.
One thing that like hurts my feelings for some reason is like weight. I think it was just like instilled in me as like a kid or something. One time when I was in middle school, like I got like through the fat stage and like my mom like locked the like cabinet so I couldn't like snack. And
I think though that she might be unaware of how deep this goes for her and how that will impact her relationships.
You're absolutely beautiful, you know that?
thank you.
You know, hug, come here. You're pretty much the same height as me with those heels.
I know. I'm a tall girl.
I know. Way to embarrass me by being taller than me.
God bless me, I'm sorry.
I love it though, I love it.
Well, I think for her, her worst case scenario came true. You can see that she is not happy, and I am not convinced that he loved it. And she reacts in a defensively interesting way. Let's watch.
I know, I was like, maybe I should wear shorter heels. I was like, woman empowerment. If I'm a tall bitch, I'm gonna rock it.
She might have been a little bit taller than me. Yeah, she's 5'9" with heels on, so, but I love that.
Describe himself as like a football player, like bigger, medium build, like 5'11", and what he said I don't think was really truthful. It is making me feel a little bit insecure because I feel like I'm bigger than him, and like when a guy's smaller than me, like it's not even a me thing, but I know that men start to feel like emasculated by that.
She leans into women empowerment as a defense, which I believe is masking her vulnerabilities and deeper insecurities. And while it might make her feel strong in the moment, she is upset, and both of them are clearly disappointed. They focus so heavily on appearances in the pods, and now it's not aligning as they hoped. She claims that his height isn't an issue, but in the same breath admits it makes her feel insecure. She is trying to convince herself it will be more of an issue for him, yet her earlier comment about dreading a super tiny partner does show her struggle to fully acknowledge what this is stirring up for her. And not that he's super tiny, but it is not what she envisioned. And I'm also concerned she feels he hasn't been truthful for her, and I'm wondering how she's processing that emotionally. He doesn't seem genuinely comfortable with her height either. He has mentioned it repeatedly, which means that it likely bothers him more than he is willing to admit to himself.
You know, my beard or something wrong with it?
What?
Your lips aren't done up, right?
Like injections?
Yeah.
No. Guys, like I definitely go for like the really big, like jockey guy, like 6'5".
In Mexico, their focus on appearance is relentless, and without that deeper bond that they never built in the pods, they are now facing the fallout of unresolved insecurities. I want to walk you through the conflict that started with Nick riding the ducks, and after I share my insights about their first conflict, I'm going to show you where the real tension began long before the ducks. I'll show you how Hannah's lack of self-awareness contributes to their conflict, and how her choice of Nick was driven by her insecurities, and why that decision is likely to backfire on her. But first, the ducks.
What are those swans over there?
I mean, I told you I want to take one of them for a ride.
Yeah, God, Nick, don't do it. I can't look.
What do you mean?
It's gonna give me the ick.
Why does that give you the ick? But if you ride it, it's hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Women can do no wrong.
Right. But men can.
Always. You do a lot of right, though, for a man. That's why I love you.
So you don't want to ride any of those ducks?
Go ride it. I'll just turn my head.
He was clearly annoyed when she told him not to ride the duck. When he persists in wanting to ride it, he is making it clear that he doesn't want to feel controlled or told what to do by her. And it's manipulative when she said, "That's why I still love you," as if she is using love to downplay the tension. And he is understandably annoyed when she claims that women can do no wrong, which comes across as dismissive of his feelings. And on top of that, her comment about turning her head when he rides the duck and how it will give her the ick is subtly shaming him. It's a passive-aggressive way of expressing disapproval, which only adds to the tension in the moment.
You want to come ride with me? Yeah, come on. Come on.
Nick, no. Nick is an idiot. I'm sorry.
Oh, she's jealous. Don't be.
No, I'm not jealous, but like...
Nick's behavior here was actually both immature and passive-aggressive. And while his frustration with Hannah, though he did not express this to her, was legitimate, but a passive-aggressive response makes it impossible for him to feel heard and understood. Instead, he could have addressed it directly by saying, "I feel uncomfortable being told what to do. And, what are you trying to communicate to me?" This would have opened the door for clarity and understanding rather than escalating the tension.
Cannot be trusted.
I know it gave you the ick, but you really aren't feeling it.
No, gross me out a little bit.
So maybe we should just call it quits now.
I'm literally trying to keep the passion alive, Nick. You riding a duck is hard for me. I'm too cool for that.
Yeah, you're way more emotionally intelligent than I am.
Whether she realizes it or not, she means it when she says he is not to be trusted. And when she says it grossed me out a little bit, that statement is also shaming. And there is no surprise that he reacted so strongly, suggesting maybe we should call it quits. The bigger issue with Nick and Hannah is that their relationship lacks a solid foundation. When couples have built a strong foundation based on love and trust and emotional safety, they can lean into that during conflicts. Without that, even minor disagreements can spiral into bigger issues. And Hannah doubles down by framing her comments as an attempt to keep the passion alive, saying riding a duck doesn't do it for her and she's too cool for that. Again, another shaming comment, whether it's intentional or not. And Nick responds with sarcasm, claiming that she's more emotionally intelligent than he is, which only adds fuel to the fire.
I think you were just jealous
The lady?
of the lady.
Yeah. It's ripping me apart.
Like, I can't be myself around you?
You can.
Okay.
I still watched.
Okay.
I still love you.
Yeah,
But like, I'm an open, honest girl.
and it wasn't hot. But
Yeah.
guess what? It turned me on.
That's scary.
She was not honest when she said that she wasn't jealous or hurt or frustrated. Whatever she might have felt, she did feel something, and she did not communicate to him, any of that to him. Hannah protects her vulnerability at all costs. Her comment, "so rip me apart," is a defense to protect her from feeling any vulnerability. It's basically, I won't let you hurt me, and I won't show you that I was a hurt reaction. It's a shield she's putting up to protect herself, even though it shuts down any meaningful communication. She keeps saying, "I love you," and it is still an attempt to diffuse tension. But in this context, those words are empty and they lack any authenticity, and they don't address the real issue. For him, it's becoming increasingly clear that he doesn't feel accepted for who he truly is as a person. Okay, here it is, the two moments I was referring to where all of this really started.
I found myself tearing up. Like, there's dudes in the pods who I didn't think would cry and who were bawling at some points, right?
Like the amount I like cried and stuff, like I'm good for like a minute. I'm good.
Are you sure?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Just don't break my heart.
There is a lot more going on here than either of them realize. When Hannah says she's only comfortable seeing men cry for a minute, what she's really expressing is her own discomfort with vulnerability, both with others and herself. I've mentioned before that she goes to great lengths to protect her vulnerability. And her comment, "don't break my heart," even though she says it with a laugh, shows her biggest fear, being emotionally hurt. This fear isn't new. She expressed it in the pods as well. These moments show how deeply her discomfort with emotional openness runs, which will definitely impact their ability to connect on a deeper level as a couple. And then there is this, the one big thing I believe is the biggest challenge between the two of them.
Was I a hot commodity in the pods?
We just talk shit about you.
That's good. That means I'm a hot commodity.
Yeah.
I want to see what the girls look like for sure. What these beautiful women look like.
So look at Hannah's face here. She is clearly upset about the comment about beautiful women and Nick wanting to be a hot commodity. Here's the thing. Hannah is very insecure about her appearance. She admits this. And she expected Nick to be a strong, big, attractive man. And I believe that she feels that if she can keep a strong, attractive man, she believes that this will sort of heal her insecurity about her appearance. Also, she doesn't realize it, but this is how it can backfire on her and ultimately on him. She calls him charming and Mr. Suave, but if there is anything that will stir up insecurity in a person who is already insecure about appearance, it's a charming Mr. Suave man, as we saw Nick charming that woman. So what Hannah thinks she needs is what could ultimately hurt her in the long run. And for Nick, he likes being Mr. Suave. He likes being a hot commodity. I don't know if that will be beneficial for him in a relationship, but for him, he clearly doesn't like it when Hannah doesn't accept him for who he is. So what Hannah thought she loved about him, she didn't realize that he is that way with everyone, not just with her. Okay, back to the pods with Marissa and Ramses.
Question like my masculinity because I'm someone who just expresses their emotions and is in touch with them. With Marissa, she loves that.
That's what I love about you, is your emotions.
I haven't discussed sensitive temperament in my Love is Blind videos yet, but about 1 in 5 people are born with it, and this means that they feel their emotions big, both positive and negative, more intensely than other people. I am wondering if Ramses might have a sensitive temperament because he seems to show big feelings, though I can't know for sure, obviously. If you don't understand that you have a sensitive temperament or your partner has a sensitive temperament, it can create big challenges in a relationship.
It made me feel like secure in who I am, and that's like what I want in my life. I want someone who like sees me for like who I truly am, and like accepts me for who I am.
That's what we all want, to be seen, loved, and accepted for who we truly are as a person. Unfortunately, at this early stage of their relationship, it is impossible for him to know if that's what's really happening. In the beginning, we all tend to put our best foot forward, but there are so many layers beneath that initial excitement and newness of a relationship. It takes time and trust for those layers to be revealed. Only then can we truly feel seen, loved, and accepted for who we are. That's the goal, but it requires patience and understanding each other and deeper connection to get there. Okay, as you know, he proposes and they meet in person, and it all went very well, and they are in Mexico. And I just want to comment on one thing here while they are in Mexico.
Yeah, no, I think no, yeah, it'll just keep getting better, which is like the crazy part.
I know we're gonna have problems. I know there's gonna be a moment where he's like, she's crazy, or I think he's crazy, or whatever. But I do think this could be the start of the most romantic fairy tale love story ever.
So this is concerning because he believes their relationship will only keep getting better. And while she acknowledges that they are going to face problems, when she calls this the most romantic fairy tale love story ever, it seems like she doesn't fully understand that they will have real challenges. It's always hard for me as a therapist to encourage couples to slow down during this exciting phase. Although I didn't show it, they seem to be having a lot of sex, which floods the brain with happy hormones like fireworks going off. It's almost as if the brain tricks us into thinking that everything will always be perfect, and we convince ourselves that the fairy tale will last forever. The truth is, understanding at a deep level that problems will inevitably come makes all the difference for couples. When you truly accept that challenges are a natural and normal part of a relationship, you feel more prepared to handle them when they start, instead of feeling blindsided or disillusioned. Okay, let's look in on Ashley and Tyler for some green light teachable moments.
No, but honestly, well, not celibate, like I use that word, but like abstinent, yeah. I guess, yeah. Honestly. It was just because I got tired of just like not having connections with people, and I'm like a connection person, and I think like sex is half connection more than anything. Honestly, when I started focusing on myself, this happened, my whole life, us happened.
For me, it's been a while because I was like, I don't like exchanging. It got to a point where it's like, I'm exchanging my soul.
This is such a mature and insightful conversation. And one part that really stood out was when she said that things started happening when she focused on herself. While she didn't elaborate on what that meant, here's how I interpret it. Focusing on yourself means committing to personal growth, which is so important to be ready for a healthy relationship. When you do that work on yourself, developing self-awareness and inner strength and emotional maturity, you can create the foundation for a truly healthy connection. You're better equipped to communicate and to handle the conflict that's going to come and all those challenges. The insight is this: the strongest relationships often start with the work we do on ourselves. Okay, let's see what we can learn from Alex and Tim and about that power struggle that I suggested could happen.
I think the better question for you to answer.
That feels right.
It's like this forever?
Yeah, feels comfortable.
You're okay with this forever?
Mm-hmm.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Positive? 1,000%?
20,000%.
Okay.
Alex could take a page out of Ashley's book, who has prioritized focusing on herself and her personal growth before entering into a relationship. This has likely given her a sense of confidence and emotional stability that Alex seems to be missing. Alex's struggle with insecurities and constant need for reassurance could be a sign that she hasn't done that growth work yet, and it would be so helpful to her and to her relationship.
You feel like I'm like bossy because I feel like I am.
You could try to be. I feel like you are used to being bossy, but I'm an immovable object. It's hard to get me outside of here.
Yeah. I will say I used to have like a really short temper. I feel like I get annoyed.
What annoys you? What's like the little thing?
I don't like repeating myself.
That's right. I can't remember the last time I was like mad. If you can get me outside of myself, that's a red flag.
That's a challenge.
No, I'm serious. I don't argue and I don't yell. So if I find myself doing any of them two things, I know it's time to go.
You know it's time to go?
Yeah, because I don't argue.
This was an important conversation for them to have, but it would have been better if they had this conversation in the pods. Essentially, she might be acknowledging that she has a tendency to be controlling, while he might be suggesting that he can be stubborn. If that's the case, it raises an important question. How will they handle conflict as a couple? When one partner is controlling and the other is an immovable object, it can lead to power struggles, like I suggested, and difficulty resolving disagreements. In a relationship, there needs to be a balance of flexibility and understanding, especially during conflict. Okay, so let's check in with Monica and Stephan. If you've watched my previous videos, you know that I have big concerns about Stephan and his lack of emotional vulnerability and lack of openness. So let's see what's going on between them.
Are you nervous about sleeping together? We don't know what we're doing. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like,
no, I have no clue. I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, I have had no idea what I'm doing for the past 30-something years.
If I were dating someone who admitted that they had no idea what they've been doing for the past 30 years, it would raise a serious red flag. That kind of statement likely means a lack of self-awareness, direction, and personal growth, which is what I have been sensing all along. It's not about having a perfect past, but about showing a sense of self-awareness and insight into your life journey. Without that, it's so hard to feel confident that a person is in a place to contribute to a stable, meaningful relationship. This would make me ask questions like, what have you learned from your experiences in life? Or how are you working to figure things out now, to see if there is at least a willingness to grow and take responsibility for their future? Now, for Stephan, he tends to talk philosophically rather than emotionally. So if I ask him these questions, I would be very aware if he was answering them with an emotional openness and vulnerability to show growth. Okay, one more important reaction to Monica and Stephan, and I'm going to wrap this up with some necessary green lights with Taylor and Garrett.
So here is coming to Cabo for the first time, letting our walls down for the first time in a pod, and being in this 100%.
Oh, yeah.
When he says that he's letting down his walls, I can't help but wonder how he defines that for himself, because I have not seen any evidence of that yet. And the reason that I bring this up is because sometimes people don't actually know what it looks like to let down their walls and be vulnerable. I mean, it's possible that Stephan feels vulnerable simply by being on this show, which I completely understand. But that is not the same as being truly open to someone and letting them see who you really are. Emotional vulnerability in a relationship requires you to share your feelings and fears and insecurities in a way that creates connection, and I just don't think we have seen that from him yet. Okay, let's look at Taylor and Garrett's beautiful green lights, because recognizing the strengths in a relationship is just as important as identifying the challenges.
I'm having a very out-of-body experience. I'm in Mexico, engaged to a woman that, like, I may not have even approached at a bar before, but I have this extremely strong connection with her that now I'm also developing this very strong physical attraction towards and connection with. And it feels so surreal, but also incredibly right.
Did you catch the green light there? He mentioned that they have built an extremely strong emotional connection first and focused on the physical connection second. As I have talked about in my previous videos, they took the time to build a strong foundation by truly getting to know each other. They asked important questions, shared vulnerabilities, and created emotional intimacy. This foundation is exactly what it takes for them to build a meaningful physical connection. And when you lay down that groundwork first, you set yourselves up for a healthier, more balanced relationship moving forward. It's a great example of how starting with emotional connection can lead to deeper trust and intimacy.
Tell me more about your mom now.
So my mom, she's kind of like me. She likes what she likes. She likes her alone time. Sounds like your mom is like very dynamic, very fun.
Growing up, I looked up to her a lot just because of who she was, not because of things she like taught me or anything like that, but because of who she was with other people and cares about everyone else before herself.
I love this. They're truly taking the time to dive into getting to know each other on a deeper level, not just as individuals, but also by learning about their families and their experiences growing up. This kind of exploration is so important because it helps build understanding and empathy, allowing them to see their past, and it shaped who they are today. By investing in this level of connection, they are creating that stronger foundation for their relationship that goes way beyond surface level attraction.
I'm not very good at asking for things. It's like where it's like, just do it myself.
Yeah.
But like if you want to be in like a significant, meaningful like relationship, you have to like give room for the other person to like do things and to like ask.
Yeah. I can't just be like independent, like, yeah, you're here, like, yeah, no, love you, like, cool, like, independent Garrett. Like, it's not gonna work that way. Like, we have to open ourselves up to like be a couple.
This was such a vulnerable moment when she admitted that she struggles with asking for what she needs. That kind of honesty opens the door for deeper understanding and connection. From there, they moved on to discuss their expectations for their relationship and how they envisioned it unfolding. Conversations like this are incredibly important because they set the tone for mutual clarity and shared goals. When you openly address your needs, because I see so many couples struggle to do this, and expectations early on, you're not only building trust, but you're also laying the groundwork for the relationship where both of you feel heard and supported. It's a great example of how vulnerability can lead to a meaningful growth in a partnership.
So I do have one like weird like nighttime quirk that you're gonna love.
What is it?
I literally sleep with tape over my mouth.
Oh, mouth tape.
Yeah.
I've heard of mouth tape.
Have you?
I've tried it. Didn't work for me.
Taylor.
You want to weigh me? No. He's a smart man.
This is literally what it is right here. This is the OG.
This is?
I'll let you apply it. No! It doesn't go around my whole head, you psychopath. Do you know how expensive this stuff is? And you just wasted an entire...
I do know how expensive it is.
Pull off like a little...
He showed even more vulnerability here by sharing about the mouth tape. And what made it even better was her response. She treated it as if it was no big deal. That kind of acceptance is perfect for building trust and emotional safety. And on top of that, their humor is a clear point of connection. It is so aligned and natural and works beautifully for them. And the bonus for them is that it will deepen their connection. Okay, that's a wrap on episode 5. I completely enjoyed sharing these teachable moments with you, and I do hope that you found it helpful. I can't wait to dive into episode 6, so be sure to come back and check it out. And if you choose to subscribe, know that I appreciate your support, and I do hope that my content supports you in return, because I am so committed to helping you get that fulfilling relationship that you not only want, but that you deserve. See you in the next video.